welcome to Intermissions, your backstage pass to On the Air with Florenza. You'll experience bloopers, outtakes, surprises, and all the laughter in between. Intermissions is unscripted, unfiltered, and undeniably Florenza. So put your hands together to welcome today's guest to the show. Thank you so much, Alfred, for joining me on this episode of On the Air with Florenza, where in just a few minutes we are going to discuss your so good book, Tales of the Lavender Twilight. But before we do, we're going to toast to an amazing show. And I've been on vacation and am still in the vacation vibe. So this is a little vodka and peach flavored soda water. And what do you have?
This is just a little coffee. It's a little Green Mountain coffee with a little skim milk and a little sweet and low. So well, it's...
Here you go. Cheers. I stepped on a scale, and let me tell you, I need to cut back on everything but air. I had a great time on my vacation.
Yeah, I guess I feel like I should say I stepped on the scale, and unfortunately, I didn't kill it.
I probably should have. So, in a minute, we're going to talk about your book. But before we do, we're going to answer a few questions that I pull out for a segment called Intermissions. It's just designed to have fun. So, as I tell the children in the writing workshops that I do, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So these are so random, but I think we're going to have fun. Are you ready? He's like, whatever.
I got my coffee.
Yes. Okay, the first one is true or false. True or false? At least one character in Tales of the Lavender Twilight is loosely based on a brunch companion. Now, I'm going to say, I think it may be on a companion, but not necessarily brunch. So I'm going to say false.
On a boss?
Brunch companion.
Oh, brunch. Okay, on a brunch companion, yes, true.
Oh, nice. Okay. So which character, can you share which character, or you're just like, mm-mm?
Well, there's a bunch in the brunch. But the last story, which is set in a Thanksgiving celebration, is very closely aligned to a real Thanksgiving celebration that I would go to every year, still go to every year in Los Angeles. And some of those folks are like, particularly the two who are key in that story, are like my brothers. So, you know, we've eaten a lot.
Okay. Wonderful. This one is a would you rather question. Would you rather spend an evening gossiping with your most dramatic character or road tripping with your most secretive one?
Oh, you see, I wish you would ask the sexiest one.
Oh, well, hey,
you know,
listen, we write with pencil. We can erase that with our sexiest one.
Certainly not the most theatrical one, because, you know, I probably would want to be that person, you know, in the car.
Uh-huh.
And I don't particularly like driving, so I wouldn't want the theatrical person behind the wheel of the car, because, you know, when they're doing that and they're not doing this, it doesn't turn out well. I prefer the sexiest person. If I couldn't go with sexy, I probably would go with the most, I don't know if the most secretive in the book, because the secretive ones are a little messed up. So I'm going to just throw in a race sexiest person in the book.
Nice. I like that. This is a true or fiction. You've rewritten dialogue after eavesdropping in a coffee shop. You kind of look like you would not necessarily eavesdrop, but like you are very observant. I'm going to say false, even though I can see some of those aspects. So false.
I would agree with the false. You know, I'm certainly observing, you know, what I see. But usually when people say things, they're not clever enough Like somebody could say something and I might be thinking like, oh, if you just changed that, if you just added an adverb, if you knew what an adverb was and you added it, it would have been really great. So I would say I would agree with the fall.
I love that. You're out there with your invisible red pen editing dialogue.
Yeah, I'm doing some kind of tracking, they're seeing these little bubbles come up.
Okay, and would you rather be remembered for making readers cry or laugh out loud in public?
To be honest, I guess I sort of the different stories I want both. But I think if at the end of the day, I would rather that they laughed out loud. I would rather that I brought them like fun joy. I think some of the stories you will cry, and I think there's some joy in some of them. A couple are very sad, but I think they'll laugh out loud.
Yeah. And then our last one for this segment, tell the truth. Which character in your book would absolutely ghost you in real life and why?
Probably the two closeted priests in one of the stories would, because they're closeted priests.
Uh-huh.
And they would be like, they're out and about, but they don't want to be out and about with somebody who's writing stories.
Good answer. Good answer. Well, thank you. That was so much fun. I love that.
And this wraps up our episode of Intermissions, your backstage pass to On the Air with Florenza. Be sure to check out the full interview for this author as well as others on Florenza's podcast, On the Air with Florenza. And until next time, cheers.